Hi, it's Penny here. Time for another reading vlog. I'm going to try really hard to make this a 1-week reading vlog rather than my recent 2-week reading vlogs. I'm going to try to be a little bit more on top of things because hopefully all things going to plan. Next week I'm going to have a job. So I need to sort my shit out. So let's talk about the books that I'm hoping to read this week. This one, I'm not going to finish it this week, but I started it last night. This is going to be my book that I read before bed because you guys know that sometimes I read while I walk around my house, but this book is not the kind of book that you read while you're walking around with because I mean, it might be good exercise, but it won't be fun. So I'm not doing that. I'm going to read this before bed. I started last night. I read 2 chapters. So the first chapter was from this perspective that we get from the race, the non-human race that these people have been having a war with. And I think actually the first of all 3 of the books in this series have started with going back in time to this assassination of the king. In the first one we got the assassin's point of view, in the second one we got the king's brother's point of view. This one we get this non-human race's point of view, which is very interesting because they took responsibility for the assassination, and so we're kind of learning more about this assassination each book. It's really interesting. We're definitely going to be getting into a lot more of the magic in this one for sure, which I'm really excited about, although I can't even begin to explain the magic system in this. It's just so in-depth but amazing. And even though I only read 2 chapters, I'm just so in love with this book already. I don't know. I hope that I'm not getting my expectations up too high. But I don't think so. So this, I've shown this before. This is a library edition, so unfortunately I can't see all the pictures. If I get a job, one of my rewards is going to be to buy myself some editions of this where I can actually look at the pictures, because it's really sad not being able to look at the pictures. I mean, there's pictures throughout as well. Here's one. Hope it doesn't have spoilers on it. And this is just some kind of creature. So, I'm super excited about reading that. I have a standing desk, so whenever I dump anything on my desk, you get an earthquake. As well as that, I'm going to try and finish this secret library project book. I'm actually going to try and finish it today, but I don't know if that's achievable. I'm not telling you anything about it anyway, so you can just ignore that. And then once I finish that, I'm going to start The Fated Sky by Mary Robinette Kowal. So this is the second book in the Lady Astronaut series, where there's been a disaster on Earth which has caused people to push forward the space program back in the 1960s. This is 1961, and we're basically following this woman who's been pushing to become an astronaut. I really loved the first book, and all the different themes within the first book were just so well done, so I'm excited to be picking that up. As far as audiobooks go, I'm currently listening to Vampire Mountain. Yes, Vampire Mountain, which I think is the 4th book in the Cirque du Freak series. It's super short, so I'll probably be finished it pretty quick. But they're going to Vampire Mountain. This boy who's like a half vampire is going to Vampire Mountain where they're having this vampire meeting. The Vampanese are doing something suspicious. It's just a fun kind of middle grade dark vampire series. I am enjoying it. After that, what have I got? So I'm probably going to listen to the audiobook of Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. Now if you watch my vlogs, you'll know a couple of vlogs ago I read Scythe by Neil Shusterman, which is the first book in this series, and I kind of hated it. So I'm questioning why I'm continuing the series, but I'm just curious. And I know that this one is going to have more of the AI in it, and I like AI, so I'm hoping that somehow I'll like this one better. If you haven't heard about Scythe, it is about this world where people no longer die, and so they've created these scythes who go around and kill people in order to keep population under control. I just couldn't get on board with the world building because they kept saying that they had solved all the world's problems when they clearly hadn't solved anything, in my opinion. Anyway, I'll listen to that and then we'll see whether we get time for any more audiobooks. I have a few more. Right now I'm going to go and film my TBR. Also in an hour we're finding out whether lockdown is getting extended. At the moment we're in level 3 lockdown. I think it's going to stay for a bit longer because we had 9 new cases today, which is a few too many. Which is a shame, but it is what it is. Regardless, my job hunt stuff will go ahead because luckily people are working remotely now. Hello! So this is kind of quite a nondescript kind of lockdown week. I've just been spending lots of time at my desk, but it's good practice because when I get a job, I'm going to be working from home. This is where I'm going to be spending a lot of my time. That's okay. I am excited for it. I haven't actually signed the contract yet, but I'm like 99.9% there. We just have to like prove that I'm not a criminal and then we can sign the contract. But everything takes a little bit longer in lockdown, so we're not quite there yet. It should be good. Are you ever just afraid that maybe you're secretly a criminal and you've forgotten? Because that's how I feel, even though should be fine, telling myself not to worry. Reading wise, so firstly, I finished off Vampire Mountain by Darren Shan. I was really enjoying it. It was a lot of fun, nothing too serious. But these books are so short, and near the end, we were just getting into what I thought was going to be the climax. We were going to go into these vampire trials, and then it said to be continued. To be continued. So I guess the vampire trials are going to be in the next book, and probably that will be the whole focus of the whole book. Now, I do think that this is fine that these books are so short. I do think a lot of middle grade books now are too long, and so back when I was a middle grade type person, I probably would have enjoyed these books being quite short and quick and to the point and easy to get through. But now, being someone who reads 1,000-page giant books, the shortness, like they're only 4-hour audiobooks, so it's just not really long enough for me. So I will probably be reading the next book very soon. Also, I will say that our main character, Darren, it kind of falls into this thing where he is often better at vampire things than other vampires who've been vampires for hundreds of years. And that just is a little bit silly, although I can see why the book would do that. It sometimes annoys me though. Also, since I finished that, I started off Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman, and I'm surprised. I'm kind of enjoying it. Like, I still think the world building is not that amazing, and it's not perfect, but we're getting some perspective from the Thunderhead, which is the AI that rules the world, and I'm quite enjoying that. It's kind of, I just really enjoy AIs that think and maybe have a different perspective from the human perspective. The Thunderhead especially is trying to find ways around the rules, so he follows the law, but he wants to make humanity better, and so there's some things he's doing to kind of get around things. Also in this, we have this bad scythe who is killing off the corrupt scythe, so is he bad? Maybe not. We also have this person from the Nimbus Society, bureaucracy really. So they're the ones who help the Thunderhead to administer the humans, and one of them has been put in a really interesting situation. And I don't know, I just think overall it's a little bit more interesting than the first book, so I'm enjoying it. But I am only a few hours in, so we'll see whether it keeps that up for the whole book. Then also I'm about 100 pages into Oathbringer, which is probably not that far in the scheme of this book, but so far we've just been like kind of recapping where all the different characters are at, which is good for me because it's been a while since I read the second book. Not ages, but maybe 6 months, so I don't remember all the intricacies of everything that's going on. But I did read in the little introduction that Brandon Sanderson wrote at the beginning that these books are kind of designed that you can just pick up an individual book and still get something out of the story. I am also really excited for this one because each one of these books also has the backstory of one of the characters. This one we're going to be learning about Dalinar. So in the last 2 books, Dalinar is this really amazing leader, and I really loved some of his values and how he implemented them. He's also been having these visions which made him question his sanity. Also, he did this thing where at some point he went to this old magic thing and got them to take away his memory of his wife, or it's more taking away the memory of his wife was the punishment for the thing that he wanted. It's not entirely clear, but in this I think we'll find out what's going on with that, which I'm really excited about. So I'll read some more of that tonight. Ready for the earthquake? Dangerous. Then I did also finish my Secret Library Project book. I'm not sure how I felt about it, but I will put my thoughts in the other video that I'm filming. And then I picked up The Fated Sky, and I haven't read more than the first chapter of this, but I'm just really liking the writing style. Also, right at the beginning, it has this little Shakespeare poem, and even though I find the rhymes very questionable, I really like it. It was a good introduction to what the story is going to be about. So in this one, we have our main character from the first book living on the moon. Her husband's still living on Earth, helping to plan the mission to Mars, which I expect she will get involved in as well. So honestly, this week's reading is going much better than last week's and the weeks before already, because I do seem to be enjoying most of what I'm reading. Also, I'm mostly just in a holding pattern in the rest of life, so I've got lots of time for reading while I wait for everything else. Oh, as well, level 3 lockdown got extended to Sunday evening, so I can't really go anywhere or do anything. I keep ordering things online as a reward for getting a job, which if my contract doesn't end up getting signed for some strange reason, I'm gonna be really bummed about. But fingers crossed. I will let you guys know for sure when I finally sign my name. But we should be good, and I should be starting next week. Maybe. Hello, so it is Thursday night. I probably should have filmed this before my makeup started turning me into a zombie, but I didn't. Anyway, yesterday, to be honest, that time of the month, so I didn't read much. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock and just fell asleep. So I haven't really read any more of either of these, although last night, because I was reading lying down, which I haven't really been doing with this book, and I discovered that there's even more art in here that I can't see. Like it just looks cool, but I can't really see it. Anyway, one day. The other thing that I did make some progress on is Thunderhead, and unfortunately I think it's lost me the way that Scythe did. So firstly, the Thunderhead repeated this argument that it isn't safe to try and do space travel and colonize other planets, and it's just so short-sighted and stupid. And so then the Thunderhead, this AI that rules the world, has decided that also it can't influence the birth rate because that would be taking away the free will of humanity. And so the only thing it can do to keep population under control is create more scythes. This amazing AI with like all the solutions of the world at its fingertips, and that's its best solution. Not impressed. Also, there is this idea of these, what are they called? Unsavories, I think, is what they're called. And in the beginning, I really liked it. So there's this idea that 3% of the population needs a system to resist against. And without that, they don't really have like the will to live. And so the Thunderhead has put some like bureaucratic systems in place to give them a system to fight against. And that was cool. I was into that idea. And like when he was talking about how he'd set up the bureaucracy to be just a little bit annoying, just to give these unsavories something to resist against, that was cool. Then they went to these like awful bars where like they're supposed to treat the staff and the other people there badly to like give them that feeling of rebelling, but like everyone who goes there knows that that's what you're supposed to do there, and they know the staff is like in on it and being paid specially to do that, and the staff don't really care because they've got nanites stopping them from feeling any pain. And like I just don't see how the situation where you're supposed to treat people like shit is really gonna give you this satisfaction of rebellion that you need. It's just, as somebody who does have a little bit of rebellion in her, and I don't really like doing what I'm told, and I have to sometimes watch myself with that, but it doesn't make sense. There's another bit where they go to this restaurant, but it's like a prison, but you're supposed to escape, and they know that the prison guards will eventually give you what you need. So like, what's the point in any of this? It lost me. And like all the cool stuff that I felt like it was setting up in the beginning, and there are a few cool things, but it just, I'm disappointed with where it's going. So much potential, but it's not delivering. Let me see how far through I am. Probably not that far through. I guess I'm only like a third or a little bit more than that of the way through, so there's still quite a lot to go. I guess it could redeem itself. I'm gonna hope that it will redeem itself, but I guess we'll see. Also, tomorrow I should hopefully be signing my contract, which will be exciting. Also, we've decided now that I won't start working until not next week, but the week after, which is good because it'll give me a week of level 2 to do any kind of like work preparation shopping. I don't know that I need to buy anything, but maybe I want to. Anyway, I'm gonna go and like clean off this makeup disaster, 'em, and try to get some more reading done. Okay, so I just finished Thunderhead, and I think it redeemed itself. Like, the plot of Thunderhead was so much better than the plot of Scythe, and I still think there's a few world building things that don't entirely make sense, and some of the things the characters do don't make sense, but overall, what happens with the Thunderhead and the Scythes is pretty cool. The ending, I definitely need to read the third book, even though I've heard that people were disappointed in the third book. But since so many people liked the first book and I didn't, I'm kind of hoping that I'll really love the third book. I'm also kind of hoping that the third book will like undo some of the criticisms I have in terms of the world building, because there were a few clues that made it seem like maybe there was more going on, but then I still think that humans are stupid if they don't realize the problem. Anyway, that was cool. I enjoyed it. Other than that, let's update you, because I don't think I've vlogged for a few days. So on Friday, I was hoping to sign my contract for my new job. They didn't quite manage to get the legal shit all together. So Monday is the day that hopefully we're signing the contract. And maybe I'll extend this vlog for a day, because I do also want to try and finish this, which I am not much further in, but I am really enjoying it. Our main character is going to Mars. Cool. Well, maybe she's going to Mars. Not confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure she will be. And I am enjoying that. I'm going to try and finish that by the end of tomorrow, because it's the end of the month tomorrow. And this was on my TBR for the month, so it would be good to finish it. And then I'll try and read some more of Oathbringer as well. Then also on Saturday, it was really beautiful and sunny, but we didn't want to make the mistake we made last weekend, which was we went to the beach, but then everybody else had the same idea, which was a terrible idea in lockdown for everyone to be in the same place. So instead, we went for like a residential walk around the neighborhood, exploring places we don't usually go. One thing we did find is this little back street, and on one side of the road there were these lion statues on either side of the driveway, and then on the other side of the road, like directly opposite, were these dragon statues. You can't tell me that that isn't two like shapeshifter families at war with each other. It has to be. It has to be. So that was definitely my favorite thing that we saw in the weekend. We didn't do much else, although we did watch this Keanu Reeves movie Replica. And if you've seen me complaining about my problems with the world building and like plot holes in Scythe and Thunderhead, then that's exactly how I reacted to Replica. Really cool concept, this idea that this guy is trying to take the consciousness of a dead human and place it into this robot. Then his family dies and he brings them back by putting them into clones of themselves. There were so many plot holes though. Cool ideas, could have been made to work, but just some really stupid things going on. So I don't recommend that movie. Huzzah! I just signed the contract. So now this new job thing that I feel like I've been talking about for a little while, now it's actually official, starting work next week. Finally, my bank account will go up instead of going down, which it has been doing for almost 2 years now. That's not true. My last pay was last year in January. That is quite a while ago. Although I think my next pay won't actually be until the 20th of October. So even though I've got a job, it'll be a little while till I get paid. But I'll probably just spend some of it in advance, because I do still have a little bit of savings. We'll see. Anyway, that's exciting. Also, what's exciting is I finished The Faded Sky. This one is a little bit funny though, so I really liked it. I love the characters. They all feel very real. I love the themes around feminism and racism. Racism was much stronger in this one. I think the previous one had some element of that, but it was much more about her fighting for her right to be an astronaut even though she was a woman. In this one, there's a lot more prejudice against the black and other people of color in the space program. And our main character, Alma, kind of working out how she fits into that and learning more about how she can help and how she sometimes doesn't help. So I really like that. Also, I can tell that this is really well researched. The whole going to Mars thing seems very authentic, but my only criticism would be that it's too spacey, which, I mean, going into a book about going to Mars, is that a valid criticism? No, because by reading this book, didn't I sign up for that? But sometimes there were just pages of all this like space process stuff and I didn't understand it. And reading the notes at the back, it seems like the author didn't really understand it either. It's just there for authenticity, which I don't mind a little bit of, but sometimes it was a little bit over the top. Also, because most of the conflict in this book is about these interpersonal relationships and the racism and prejudice that's going on, none of that is really resolved. Like in the first one, it was resolved in that she finally became an astronaut, so you felt like a satisfactory conclusion. This one, like, maybe slight spoilers, but like they go to Mars, and that didn't feel like it wrapped up any of the conflict, because the conflict was all about other things, and none of those problems were really solved because there's no way they could be solved in this book. So in the end, I think this is a really good book to read because of the themes and because of the characters. I cried in some bits, but at the same time, I got to the end and I felt unsatisfied. So there's that. Also this week I have been reading this. I'm up to about 150. I'll have to try and make more progress this week coming. I want to try and get a decent way through this before I start my new job, because that would make getting through the rest of my TBR while starting a new job a lot easier, but I'm not sure how that's going to all work out. I'm going to start a new vlog, so we'll have to see in that vlog what happens. I did also this morning start the third book of the Percy Jackson series, so I'll probably talk more about that in the next vlog as well. Am I implying that you should subscribe to my channel so that you can see my future vlogs? I mean, it would be nice, but you can do whatever you want. But I will say thank you for hanging out with me this week. I hope you found my thoughts on these books somewhat interesting. And of course, if you've read any of these books, I would love to hear your thoughts about them down in the comments. Otherwise, I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.